From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, January the 15th, 2021. A bipartisan bill was reintroduced into the House of Representatives yesterday against Palestinian terror groups, Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, that operate in Gaza. The Times of Israel reports that the Palestinian International Terrorism Support Prevention Act, which has the support of pro-Israel lobby AIPAC, is co-sponsored by New Jersey Democrat Josh Gottheimer and Florida Republican Brian Mast. It seeks to sanction international individuals and agencies that assist and or are tied to those terror groups. The legislation passed unanimously in the House back in 2019, but the Senate version, presented by Connecticut Democrat Richard Blumenthal and Florida Republican Marco Rubio, was not approved by the end of Congress's session. Gottheimer said Hamas is well known for firing rockets and digging terror tunnels into Israel and using Gazans, including women and children, as human shields. It is critical, he said, that the United States and our allies continue to isolate terrorist groups like Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad by cutting them off at the source. An Algerian man in France who is said to have refused to deliver food to Jewish customers will be deported. Earlier this week, 2 kosher restaurants in Strasbourg filed a complaint against the man who was working as a delivery driver for the company Deliveroo, with one restaurant claiming that when he came to pick up a food order from them, he asked what kind of restaurant they were. They told him they served Israeli cuisine, and he then said, "I don't serve Jews," with a similar incident at the second restaurant reported. Yesterday, a court in eastern France convicted the driver of anti-Semitic discrimination, sentencing him to 4 months in prison. And Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin said he would be then deported after completing that sentence. Deliveroo spokesman Damien Stefan said earlier this week that the company thinks anti-Semitic acts, like all racist or discriminatory acts of all kinds, are unacceptable. Well, the Buchenwald Memorial Museum had to issue an unusual request this week after a number of people came to part of the snow-covered grounds of the former concentration camp, which contain mass graves, to Sled. Director of the Buchenwald and Mittelbau Dora Memorials Foundation, Jens Christian Wagner, told news website Der Spiegel that masses of day trippers came to the site, which is outside the German city of Weimar, for fun in the snow. Wagner said he could understand that many families are looking for ways and places to spend time outside during the nationwide coronavirus lockdown, but he said this was not the place. The memorial issued a statement entitled "Graves in the Buchenwald Memorial, No Place to Sled," stressing that the section of the memorial with the bell tower, which sits atop a slope, is part of the memorial and that several thousand are buried there. The memorial, they wrote, is their cemetery. Writing, "We ask visitors to the memorial to behave in a manner that is appropriate to the dignity of the place. We cannot tolerate violations of the visitor regulations at this location. In particular, we will report cases of disturbances to the peace of the dead due to winter sports activities near the grave complex. We ask for your understanding." Portugal is preparing to open its first Holocaust museum. The Holocaust Museum of Oporto was built in the northern city, which is also called Porto, by members of its Jewish community, a community, by the way, that was established by descendants of victims of the Inquisition. The museum was developed in cooperation with the Jewish Museum and Tolerance Center in Moscow, among others. It includes a reproduction of Auschwitz prisoner barracks, a memorial room with walls carrying the names of Holocaust victims, and a study center. It is set to open on January the 20th, and just 1 week later, on January the 27th, International Holocaust Remembrance Day, it will welcome students from across Portugal to visit. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, January the 15th. Coming up at 6 o'clock, it's live Shabbat services from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, it's a look at the faces of Israel from the AJC's 2018 Global Forum. At 9, it's the film The Making of a Martyr. At 10, Israeli director and actor Gur Bentwich and Israeli actor Alona Butbul discuss Bentwich's award-winning film Peaches and Cream with Eric Goldman on Jewish Cinematheque. At 10:30, it's a replay of the Hampton Synagogue services, followed by a replay of the services from Central Synagogue. And coming up next, it's a look at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, January the 15th, 2021. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well, and Shabbat Shalom.